For as much as corporate America loves cheap China labor and access to their markets, the world's biggest companies are starting to wonder, how much do we want to be associated with what's being called the genocide games? A PR win for communist Beijing on par with Nazi Germany's 1936 Berlin Games. But the companies whose logos you just saw there are paralyzed, because if they dare say anything negative about China's human rights abuses, China Inc. will hit back hard. They are so paralyzed that when we called for comment on what you were about to see, the corporate PR types refused to even acknowledge our requests. We rarely play a political ad in its entirety. In fact, we never do. But this isn't a political ad. It is a moral statement, which NBC refused to air when Congressman Michael Waltz and his team purchased time during the Olympic opening ceremonies.
The world's greatest athletic showcase. But just outside the show, rape, genocide, slave labor. American companies are drunk on Chinese dollars, entangled with communist dictators committing atrocities and propping up these genocide games staged by the Chinese Communist Party. And what can we do?
Stand for freedom. Defund the dictators. When you see made in China,
put it down.
Servant Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Powerful. NBC contends it did not reject the ad, but asked for the ad to be changed to adhere to its advertising guidelines. Congressman Michael Waltz joins us now from D.C. All right, Congressman, powerful ad. Kudos to you for putting it together and for being willing to speak the truth. Do you really expect NBC, though, to air it?
Yeah, actually, we did, Leland. I don't accept that from NBC. We had a legal team and an advertising team make sure the ad adhered to all of their standards. And what NBC came back with was that we'll air it as long as you take all the company logos out and materially change the ad, which is basically a non-rejection rejection. And completely altered the point of it. And by the way, I did this with Enes Kanter Freedom, the NBA basketball star who's been so forceful and brave in his calling out of the NBA, of his fellow players like LeBron James and Nike, who literally have their products and have deals with companies that are using slave labor and are supporting and abetting an ongoing genocide. So we need the American people to understand what's going on. And it's disappointing, but not that surprising that NBC is afraid. They're afraid of the Chinese blowback. They're afraid of their sponsors. They're only worried about their bottom line. And all of those companies preach social justice when it comes to causes here at home, and then hypocritically turn a blind eye when multiple administrations have in detail laid out a mass genocide that's happening as we speak.
It also seems as though Congress always gets right up to the line of taking action on this. There's a number of bills that have come up, I know some that you support, that talk about banning goods from the province where the Uyghurs are to try and prevent slave labor and the like. And every congressman or senator we have on loves to talk about how in favor of the bill they are, but for some reason it never seems to get to the floor and then never gets to the White House. Why is that?
Well, all of those companies, Intel, Proctor Gamble, Coca Cola, AirBnB, I mean, some of the largest and most powerful in the country have actively lobbied against it. It's all in their disclosures for years. Coca Cola gets its sugar from Western China. Nike gets its cotton, literally picked from cotton fields by people at the other end of a barrel. But just this year, we actually did get it done, Leland. The president signed it into law. Now it has to be implemented. And for example, Intel, which makes its computer chips in Western China, sent a notice out to its suppliers in China and said, we can't abide by this kind of slave labor anymore. Huge blowback from the Chinese Communist Party. Intel then apologized and backtracked. NBA has done the same thing with one coach who said, I stand for freedom in Hong Kong. China threatened to cut him off from their market. NBA then threatened to fire the coach until he took the tweet down. This is an example of what's to come. If Xi, President Xi of China, realizes his vision of replacing the American dream with the China dream. So this isn't just a human rights issue or a jobs issue. It's a national security issue. And our message in that ad was, when you see made in China, put it down. A lot of people are talking about defunding things. Let's defund dictatorships. And I don't want our future soldiers and sailors facing a Chinese military that was funded on American dollars.
You think about, though, what you just said about Intel, that this law was passed that conceivably was supposed to have some teeth and change things. Intel sent a letter, the Chinese got upset, Intel backtracks and apologizes. Doesn't that just prove the law doesn't have any teeth to it?
Well, that's where the administration, Congress passes the law, and the executive branch, the administration, enforces them. And that's where we need President Biden's Treasury Department, his Commerce Department, his Justice Department to actually enforce the law that the president signed onto the books. But, I'm not going to put it down. We're not going to give up. And I have additional measures that'll be in this defense bill that says no defense contracts from the U.S. military when your company is directly and indirectly aiding and abetting the Chinese military, not to mention these Olympic Games, which is a massive propaganda coup for the Chinese Communist Party. And NBC alone is a $7.5 billion contract with the IOC. And look, Leland, everybody says we should support our athletes. I agree. But at the end of the day, as Enes Kanter said, no amount of gold medals are worth your values. And it's the IOC who put our athletes in these positions of choosing between being able to compete or turning a blind eye to these kinds of atrocities.
There seems to be beginnings of the rumblings coming from China about whether the games are really that fair, because perhaps unsurprisingly, there's a number of athletes who are ending up with positive COVID tests and now can't compete. Suddenly the Chinese athletes are able to compete, and they've continue to do fairly well. Is it possible to have fair Olympic Games in China?
Under this communist regime, this dictatorship, I don't think so, and nor are our athletes safe. And again, you have some pundits and the IOC saying we shouldn't mix politics with sports. Well, the IOC took a principled stand when it came to apartheid. They banned any Olympics in South Africa. Heck, they went a step further and banned any South African athlete for 30 years for competing in the games. So, why did they take a principled stand then, but not now? And the only difference is the amount of money involved. Whether it is Hollywood,
I want to just get this. No, you make a great point about the money. Real quick, though, with the amount of money that China has, is this sort of closing the barn doors after the horses have already gotten out? How is it possible to do anything to actually get the Chinese back in line when they have such leverage over the world's biggest corporations, much less America's?
Well, number one, you're right. I don't trust these corporate CEOs. They're only worried about their next bonus and next quarterly earnings. That's why the message in our ad is to the American people. When you see made in China, put it down. It needs to be made in America. And if it can't be made in America, at least in an allied country like India or democracy, like Malaysia or Australia, that's not talking about replacing the United States as a global leader. But I think COVID, Leland, was a real wake-up call in our supply chains. The Chinese are actively talking about choking off our pharmaceuticals, our computer chips, our rare earth minerals. And I think the American people are seeing that having access to those things again, isn't just a jobs or economic issue. It's a true national security and health of our country issue, and we can't have it all in the hands of a dictatorship that doesn't mean us well.
You have to really wonder if China is willing to play economic warfare, which clearly they are, and they're talking about when we're willing to play economic warfare back, which is something I know you're advocating here with the put it down if it's made in China. Congressman, good to see you as always. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.